Lieutenant Maya Collins floated in the darkness of space and watched pieces of her ship drift past her helmet. The battle had been brutal and fast. One moment her squadron was patrolling the outer rim, and the next moment the Krathan warships appeared from nowhere. Their weapons tore through human shields like paper. Maya saw her friends die in bright flashes of light. Captain Rodriguez's ship exploded first. Then Lieutenant Chen went silent mid-scream. Maya tried to run, but her engine took a direct hit. Now she drifted alone among the debris. Her oxygen gauge blinked red in the corner of her vision. 20 minutes of air remained. Maybe less. She tried not to think about it. Death in space was supposed to be peaceful, they said. You just went to sleep. But Maya did not feel peaceful. She felt angry. Angry that the Krathan had ambushed them. Angry that Earth was losing this war. Angry that she would die out here and no one would ever find her body. She closed her eyes and thought of home. The real home, not the military base where she lived now. She thought of her mother's farm in Colorado. The way the mountains looked at sunset. The smell of fresh bread in the kitchen. Her little brother Danny asking her to tell him stories about flying through the stars. She wondered if he would remember her. He was only 8 when she left for the academy. Something moved in the darkness. Maya opened her eyes. At first she thought it was just more debris, but then she realized the shadow was too big. Too deliberate. It blocked out the stars as it approached. The shape made no sense to her trained eye. Human ships were angular and efficient. Krathan vessels were massive and brutal-looking. This thing was neither. The ship was curved and organic. It had scales that caught the distant starlight and shimmered like oil on water. Wings extended from its sides, but they looked like real wings, not solar panels or heat sinks. As it came closer, Maya saw that the entire hull seemed to pulse with a soft purple glow. The ship was breathing. Ships did not breathe, but this one did. The vessel moved around her broken shuttle with impossible grace. Something extended from its side like a tentacle or a tongue. It wrapped around her small craft and pulled her toward an opening in the hull. Maya wanted to resist, but she had no thrust left. No weapons. Nothing but a flickering life support system. She let it take her. The opening sealed behind her with a sound like a sigh. Atmosphere rushed into the chamber. Maya heard the hiss through her helmet. Her suit sensors confirmed it. Breathable air. High oxygen content. Temperature comfortable. She hesitated only a moment before cracking her helmet seal. The air tasted sweet. Like flowers and honey mixed together. Nothing like the recycled air on human ships. She climbed out of her damaged shuttle and looked around. The walls glowed with soft purple light. They were not metal or plastic. They looked almost like living tissue. The floor beneath her boots was warm and slightly soft like moss. Veins of light pulsed through the walls in steady rhythms. A heartbeat, maybe. This ship was alive. Truly alive. Maya heard footsteps. Light and careful. Not the heavy boots of soldiers. She turned and reached for her sidearm, but her holster was empty. Lost in the battle, probably. She raised her fists instead, even though she knew it was useless. If whoever owned this ship wanted her dead, she would already be dead. The woman who entered the chamber was not human. Maya knew that instantly. Her ears swept back in elegant points that extended past her hair. Her eyes were too large and too bright. They glowed like polished emeralds lit from within. Her skin had a faint shimmer as if she carried light under her flesh. She wore robes made from material that seemed to shift and move on its own. Living plants, maybe? They grew and changed color as Maya watched, but what made Maya heart race were the 2 creatures following behind the woman. Dragons. Small compared to the monsters from Earth legends, but unmistakably dragons. One was silver with scales that made soft chiming sounds as it moved. The other was deep blue like the ocean Maya had only seen in old videos from Earth. Both watched her with eyes that held too much intelligence. These were not animals. These were something more. The elf woman stopped a few meters away. She studied Maya with an expression that showed no fear or hostility. Just curiosity. Her lips moved and Maya heard words, but they did not match the lip movements. The sound seemed to bypass her ears completely and form directly in her mind. The sensation was disturbing and fascinating at the same time. You are far from your home, human. The voice was like wind through trees, soft but carrying an edge of power. Your kind does not usually survive this deep in our territory. Maya straightened despite her exhaustion. Blood had soaked through her uniform on the left side where shrapnel had hit her during the battle. She tried to look dignified anyway. She had been trained to represent humanity even in the worst situations, especially in the worst situations. My ship was ambushed by the Krathen fleet. Maya kept her voice steady. I am the only survivor of my crew. I was trying to reach the relay station when my engines failed. The elf woman tilted her head slightly. The dragons moved closer. They sniffed at Maya with warm breath that smelled of cinnamon and something electric like the air before a lightning storm. The silver one made a soft chirping sound. The blue one rumbled deep in its chest. Neither seemed aggressive, just curious like their companion. The Krathen are expanding their reach. The elf woman spoke again. They do not distinguish between our people and yours. They consume everything in their path. They turn living worlds into ash and metal. Maya nodded grimly. She had seen what the Krathen left behind. Entire colonies reduced to smoking craters, populations enslaved or experimented on or simply killed for efficiency. The war had been going badly for humanity for 6 months now. Earth Command tried to keep civilian morale high, but soldiers knew the truth. Humanity was losing. Badly. The elf woman made a gesture and the floor began to change. It twisted and grew upward, forming a chair from the moss-like surface. The process took only seconds. When it finished, the chair looked comfortable and perfectly sized for Maya. Sit human. The woman's command was gentle but firm. You are injured. Maya had not let herself think about the pain until that moment. Now that the adrenaline was fading, she felt it, sharp and hot in her side. Her vision swam slightly. She sat heavily in the offered chair. The dragons pressed against her legs immediately. Their body heat soaked through her torn uniform. The warmth felt good. Comforting somehow. My name is Lyra, the elf woman said. I am princess of the Ethel Dominion. These are my companions. The silver one is Frost. The blue is Storm. We have been tracking Krathen movements for some time. We believe they are preparing a massive assault on the border worlds. Maya felt a chill that had nothing to do with space or her injuries. If the Ethel were worried, then humanity was in even more danger than the admirals thought. Maya introduced herself properly. Lieutenant Maya Collins of the Earth Defense Force 3rd Fleet. She explained what she knew about Krathen positions and fleet movements. The information was incomplete because her squadron had been on patrol duty, not reconnaissance. But she told Lyra everything she could remember. Troop concentrations near the Sirius cluster. Supply lines running through the Vega corridor. The new weapon signatures her ship sensors had detected before the ambush. Lyra listened carefully. She asked questions that showed a tactical mind sharper than most human commanders Maya had served under. She wanted to know about human response times and weapon capabilities and shield frequencies. She asked about Earth political situation and whether the colonies would support each other or fracture under pressure. The dragons seemed to understand the conversation too. They reacted to certain names and locations with low growls or soft chirps that almost sounded like speech. When Maya finished talking, Lyra was quiet for a long moment. The purple light in the walls pulsed steadily. The ship made soft sounds around them like breathing or maybe singing. Maya realized she could feel the vessel moving, not with her body but with some other sense she did not have a name for. They were traveling fast, faster than any human ship could manage. Your people fight bravely, Lyra finally spoke, but without understanding. You use brute force where precision is needed. You treat your ships like machines when they could be so much more. Maya bristled at that. Humanity had survived because of determination and courage. They had gone from primitive rockets to interstellar travel in less than 2 centuries. They had fought off 3 alien invasions before the Krathen. Human ships might not be as advanced as Ethel vessels, but human spirit made up the difference. Before Maya could voice her objections, Lyra raised a hand. I do not criticize human, I observe. And I offer an alternative, Lyra began to explain. Her people had lived among the stars for thousands of years before humanity discovered fire. They had learned to work with the universe rather than against it. Ethel ships were grown, not built. Their weapons worked with energy fields that humans barely understood. Their navigation used quantum paths that made human jump drives look like children's toys. Most importantly, they had allies. Lyra gestured to Frost and Storm, who had been watching Maya with those unnervingly intelligent eyes. Dragons are not pets. She said the words carefully as if Maya might misunderstand. They are the first children of the stars themselves. Born from cosmic fires when galaxies were young. They choose their companions. They bond for life. Together, an Ethel and their dragon can accomplish what entire fleets cannot. She paused and looked directly at Maya. The green glow of her eyes intensified. Maya wanted to look away but found she could not break the gaze. Lyra continued speaking. The dragons tell me you have potential human. They sense something in you. Courage, yes, but also adaptability. An openness to change that most of your kind lacks. Maya laughed, but there was no humor in the sound. I am a fighter pilot, not a dragon rider. I do not even know if I will survive this injury. She gestured at her side where blood had soaked through her uniform. The pain had dulled to a steady throb, but she could feel herself getting weaker. Shock, probably. Blood loss, definitely. Lyra smiled then. The expression transformed her face from merely beautiful to something that made Maya's chest ache. You will survive. Whether you become more than a pilot is up to you. She reached out and touched Maya's shoulder. Warmth flooded through the human body. Not surface heat, but something deeper. Maya felt it spreading through her veins like liquid sunlight. The pain in her side faded. She looked down and gasped. Her wound was closing. The torn flesh knitted together as she watched. In seconds, only smooth skin remained. Not even a scar. Just faint traces of blood on her uniform proved the injury had ever existed. How did you do that? Maya touched her side in disbelief. Human medical technology could heal most wounds, but it took days or weeks. Not seconds. Life calls to life, Lyra said simply. The Ethel learned long ago to work with the body natural healing. We simply encourage it. Speed it up. Your own cells did the actual repair. Maya stared at her hands. They looked normal, but she felt different somehow. More aware of her body. She could feel her heart beating. Blood moving through her veins. The air filling her lungs. It was like someone had turned up the volume on sensations she usually ignored. Lyra stepped back and her expression grew serious. The Krathen will attack the Proxima colonies in 3 days. Your fleet is positioned wrong. They will be slaughtered. My people could intervene, but we have laws. Ancient laws. We do not involve ourselves directly in lesser species conflicts. Maya anger flared at the phrase lesser species, but Lyra held up a hand before she could speak. However, the elf princess continued. If a human were to join with us, to bond with a dragon, then you would be one of us, part of the Ethel Dominion. Then we could act. We could save your colonies. We could turn the tide of this war. The words hung in the air between them. Maya understood the implication immediately. This was not just an offer of alliance. It was an offer of transformation, of becoming something other than human. The idea should have terrified her. It did terrify her, but it also called to something deep inside her, something that had always felt constrained by human limitations. Storm the Blue Dragon moved forward. He pressed his massive head against Maya's hand. The scales were warm and smooth like polished stone heated by the sun. Maya felt something pass between them. Not words exactly, more like emotions and images. Vast sky, endless hunt. The joy of flight beyond anything a human ship could provide. She felt his curiosity about her, his willingness to try this strange partnership. What would I have to do? Maya heard herself ask. Her voice sounded distant to her own ears. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. You would have to trust completely. Let storm into your mind and soul. You would have to give up some of your humanity to gain something greater. There would be pain. Moments where you would want to break the bond. But if you succeeded, you would be able to move between stars like thought. Strike with precision no Krathen could match. You would help save both our peoples. Maya thought of her crew floating dead in space. She thought of Captain Rodriguez and Lieutenant Chen and all the others. She thought of the Proxima colonies that would burn in 3 days. Millions of people. Families. Children like her brother Danny. She thought of Earth so far away that she might never see it again anyway. She looked at Storm and felt that strange connection again. Stronger this time. The dragon was ancient. She could sense that. He had seen stars being born, watched civilizations rise and fall, yet he looked at her with something like hope. Like she might be worthy of partnership. How do we begin? Maya asked. Lyra's smile was sad and proud at once. With fire, human. With fire and transformation. Lyra led Maya deeper into the living ship. The corridors curved and twisted in ways that defied normal geometry. Sometimes they walked upright and sometimes gravity seemed to shift, so they walked on walls that became floors. The purple light grew brighter as they descended. Frost and Storm followed close behind. Maya could feel Storm presence in her mind growing stronger with each step. It was not uncomfortable exactly, just strange, like sharing her thoughts with someone else. They entered a chamber that made Maya stop in her tracks. The room was massive, bigger than should fit inside the ship she had seen from outside. The walls were transparent, or maybe they were not walls at all. Stars surrounded them on all sides. They stood in the middle of space itself, or something that looked exactly like it. Maya could see nebulas in the distance, galaxies spinning slowly, comets trailing fire across the void. "This is the heart chamber," Lyra's voice echoed in the vast space. "Where the ship mind rests, where bonds are formed. Step into the center, Maya Collins. Let the universe see you." Maya walked forward on legs that felt unsteady. The floor beneath her feet was solid, but she could see stars below her. It created a dizzying sensation of falling and floating at the same time. She reached the center of the chamber and stopped. A circle of silver light appeared around her feet. Runes she could not read spiraled outward from where she stood. Lyra took position at the edge of the circle. She began to chant in a language that sounded like music and thunder mixed together. The words were old, older than human civilization, older than Earth itself probably. Frost and Storm moved to opposite sides of the circle. They spread their wings wide. The silver and blue scales began to glow. Storm stepped into the circle first. He moved slowly, deliberately. His blue eyes never left Maya's face. She felt his mind pressing against hers. Gentle at first, just a whisper of presence. Then stronger, more insistent. He was asking permission, asking if she truly wanted this. Because once they began, there would be no going back. Maya took a deep breath and opened her mind. She did not know how she knew what to do. Instinct, maybe? Or Storm was guiding her. The dragon consciousness rushed into her like a river breaking through a dam. Maya gasped. It was overwhelming. Too much sensation, too much awareness. She could feel Storm's heart beating in sync with her own, feel his ancient memories flowing past. Battles fought across centuries. Worlds explored. The loneliness of being one of the last of his kind. The pain started small, a burning in her chest. Then it spread through her body like wildfire. Maya screamed but could not stop the process. She felt her cells changing. DNA rewriting itself. Human limitations being stripped away. Storm power filled the spaces left behind. Draconic strength. Senses that could detect radiation and magnetic fields. An awareness of the universe that no human possessed. Through the agony, Maya saw images. Storm memories became her memories. She flew through the birth of a star. Felt the heat of creation wash over scales that could not burn. She hunted across gas giants where creatures made of lightning lived. She slept in the hearts of black holes where time had no meaning. She understood things that human science had only guessed at. But Storm was seeing her memories too. Her childhood on the farm, learning to fly her first aircraft at 16. The academy where she pushed herself harder than anyone else. The day she got her commission and swore to protect Earth. Her brother Danny waving goodbye as her ship left orbit. Storm felt her love for her family. Her determination. Her fear of failure. He saw what made her human and he accepted it. Embraced it even. Lyra chanting grew louder. The runes around Maya's feet blazed with white light. Frost began to sing in a voice that sounded like crystals chiming. The ship itself responded. The walls pulsed faster. The stars around them seemed to draw closer. Maya felt reality bending. She existed in multiple places at once. In the chamber. In Storm mind. Scattered across space itself. Her body began to change visibly. Scales appeared on her arms. Just a few at first, small and iridescent. They glimmered blue like stormhide. Her eyes burned. When she blinked, she could suddenly see in spectrums humans were blind to. Infrared. Ultraviolet. Quantum fluctuations in the air. Her hearing sharpened until she could detect the heartbeat of the ship around them. Her own heartbeat. Lyra breathing across the chamber. The worst part was her mind expanding. Human brains were limited by skull size and neural pathways. But the bonding changed that. Maya felt her consciousness stretching, growing. She could suddenly process information at speeds that would have been impossible before. She understood concepts that had been beyond her grasp, mathematics and physics that Earth scientists had not even theorized yet. It was beautiful and terrifying. Storm. She called his name with her mind, not her voice. Is this what you see all the time? This is how you experience reality. Yes. His response came back instantly. Now you see as I see, feel as I feel. We are one. The pain began to fade, or maybe Maya was getting used to it. Her body settled into its new configuration. Not fully human, not fully dragon, something in between. Something new. She looked at her hands. The scales had spread further up her arms. Her fingers ended in claws that could retract like a cat. She touched her face and felt ridges along her cheekbones. Protective plates under the skin. Lyra stopped chanting. The light faded from the runes. Frost folded his wings and made a sound of approval. Storm stepped back and Maya felt the distance between them, but they were still connected. Still sharing one awareness split between two bodies. She would always know where he was. What he felt. They were bonded for life now. Partners in the truest sense. You did well. Lyra's voice was filled with pride. Very few humans survive their first bonding. Most minds break under the strain. But you held together. You adapted. As the dragon sensed you would. Maya tried to stand, but her legs would not cooperate. The new body felt wrong. Too light. Too strong. She could feel power coiled in her muscles. Storm's strength added to her own. She probably could have bent steel bars with her bare hands. The thought should have excited her. Instead, she felt frightened. What had she become? Lyra seemed to understand. She crossed the chamber and knelt beside Maya. It takes time to adjust. Days or weeks. Your mind must learn to control abilities you never had. But Storm will help you. He will teach you. And I will guide you both. Maya looked up at the elf princess. Can we really stop the Krathen now? Can we save the Proxima colonies? Lyra smiled. Now you are ethel and human both. Now we can fight without breaking our laws. And yes, we can save your people. But you must be ready. The battle will be unlike anything you experienced before. You will not fly a ship. You will be the weapon. Storm moved close and pressed against Maya's side. She felt his confidence, his certainty that they would succeed. The dragon had waited a long time for a companion. He would not let her fail. They would face the Krathen together. They would show the enemy what happened when they threatened both their peoples. Maya took a deep breath with lungs that felt different now, larger, more efficient. She stood on legs that were steady despite everything. She looked at Lyra and nodded. Then let us prepare. We have 3 days before the attack. I need to learn how to use these new abilities. I need to understand what I've become. Lyra extended her hand and Maya took it. The elf princess pulled her to her feet. Come then, your training begins now. The training was brutal. Maya had thought the bonding process was the hardest part. She was wrong. Learning to control her new body and abilities pushed her to limits she did not know existed. Lyra was a patient teacher but also demanding. She accepted no excuses and no hesitation. Storm was gentler but no less insistent. He showed her through their mental link how to move with draconic grace, how to channel energy through her changed form. The first lesson was flight, not in a ship but actual flight. Maya stood on a platform that extended from the ship into open space. Only a thin energy field protected her from the void. Her human instincts screamed at her to retreat to safety, but Storm was already airborne beside her. His wings spread wide, catching solar winds that human sensors could barely detect. He called to her through their bond, showed her how to shape the energy field around her body into wings of her own. Maya closed her eyes and focused. She felt the power inside her, Storm gift. She pushed it outward and felt it take form. When she opened her eyes, she had wings made of blue light. They extended from her shoulder blades like storm wings, but smaller, more compact. She tried to move them and nearly fell off the platform. The balance was all wrong. Human bodies were not meant to fly this way. Storm swooped close and his thoughts filled her mind. Do not think like a human anymore. You are more now. Feel the currents. Let them carry you, Maya tried again. This time she stopped trying to control everything. She let her new instincts guide her. The wings moved naturally. She stepped off the platform and did not fall. The solar wind caught her and she was flying. Actually flying through space with no ship around her. The sensation was incredible. Terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. She could feel every particle of radiation, every magnetic field. The stars were not distant points of light anymore. They were real and close and singing to her. Storm flew beside her and together they soared through the void. He taught her to navigate by feeling quantum currents, to accelerate by pushing against the fabric of space itself, to turn by adjusting her energy field. Within hours, Maya was flying with confidence. Not perfect, but good enough. Storm assured her through their bond that perfection would come with practice. The second lesson was combat. Lyra took Maya to a training chamber where holographic enemies appeared. They looked exactly like Krathan soldiers, tall and armored with weapons that fired superheated plasma. Maya's instinct was to reach for a gun, but Lyra stopped her. "You are the weapon now." The elf princess gestured at the holograms. "Show me what you and Storm can do together." Maya looked at the dragon. He was watching the holograms with predatory focus. His thoughts touched hers, together as one. Strike fast and disappear. They moved in perfect synchronization. Maya felt storm power flow through her. She extended her clawed hands and energy beams shot from her palms. Blue fire like storm breath but focused and precise. The first hologram exploded. Storm swooped past and his tail smashed through two more. Maya jumped higher than any human could and came down on another enemy with claws that tore through armor like paper. The holograms kept coming. Dozens of them. Hundreds. Maya and Storm fought as a single unit. When she needed to retreat, he provided cover. When he was surrounded, she drew fire away. Their bond let them coordinate without speaking. They knew each other's thoughts and intentions instantly. The battle became a dance. Deadly and beautiful. Within minutes, every hologram was destroyed. Lyra smiled and created more enemies. These moved faster and hit harder. Maya adapted. She learned to dodge plasma bolts by reading energy signatures. She discovered she could create shields by hardening her energy field. Storm taught her to breathe fire herself, not as hot or as large as his flames, but enough to melt Krathan armor. They fought wave after wave until Maya's body moved on pure instinct. The third lesson was the hardest. Mental discipline. Lyra explained that the bond with Storm gave Maya incredible power, but also incredible vulnerability. If their minds were not properly shielded, enemies with psychic abilities could attack them. The Krathan had some soldiers who could disrupt neural patterns, turn allies against each other, drive people insane with invasive thoughts. Lyra taught Maya to build walls in her mind, not to shut Storm out, but to protect what they shared from outside interference. It required intense concentration. Maya had to remain aware of Storm presence while also maintaining barriers against intrusion. She failed dozens of times. Lyra's mental attack slipped through and sent Maya to her knees, clutching her head in pain. But slowly Maya learned. She understood that her mind was like the ship around them, organic and flexible. She could shape it, strengthen it. By the end of the second day, she could withstand Lyra's full assault without flinching. Storm added his own mental strength to hers. Together they were unbreakable. On the third day, Lyra declared the basic training complete. Maya was exhausted but also energized. She felt more alive than ever before. Her new body had stamina that her human form never possessed. She barely needed sleep. Food tasted different now, more intense. She could detect nutrients and energy on a molecular level. But the biggest change was how she saw the universe. Humans viewed space as empty and hostile. Maya now understood it was full of life and energy. Every star was a living thing in its own way. Every planet had a song. Even the void between galaxies hummed with potential. She was part of it all now, connected in ways that made her old life seem small and limited. Storm sensed her thoughts and sent reassurance through their bond. "You are not less human. You are more than human. You carry both heritages now, the strength of Earth and the wisdom of dragons." Lyra called them to the command chamber. The ship had been traveling at speeds that bent space itself. They were approaching the Proxima system. Maya could feel it through storm senses. Millions of human lives on 3 colony worlds. Unaware that the Krathan fleet was about to emerge from dark space, the elf princess displayed tactical information on screens that appeared in the air. The Krathan had assembled a massive force, over 200 warships, thousands of fighters, troop carriers that could land armies in hours. The human defense fleet had only 40 ships in position. They were outgunned and outmaneuvered. Without help, they would last maybe an hour before being overwhelmed. But they would have help now. Lyra touched Maya's shoulder. "Are you ready, human? Ready to show the Krathan why the dragons chose you? Ready to become legend?" Maya looked at Storm. The dragon eyes glowed with fierce pride. She felt his battle eagerness, his confidence in their partnership. She touched the scales on her arms and felt the power coiled inside her. She was no longer just a fighter pilot. She was something new, something the universe had never seen before. Human courage bonded with draconic might. She met Lyra's gaze and smiled. A predator smile that showed her new fangs. "I am ready. Let us save my people and teach the Krathan fear." The ship dropped out of its impossible speed. The Proxima system appeared before them. Beautiful blue worlds orbiting a yellow star, home to 15 million humans who had left Earth to build new lives. Maya would not let them burn. Not while she had breath in her body and stormfire in her soul. The battle was about to begin. The Krathen fleet emerged from dark space exactly as Lyra predicted. Maya watched through the ship sensors and through storm-enhanced vision. Over 200 warships materialized at the edge of the Proxima system. Each vessel was massive and ugly, built for destruction, not elegance. Their weapons powered up immediately, ready to rain fire on the colonies below. The human defense fleet responded instantly. 40 ships moved into defensive formation around the 3 colony worlds. Maya recognized the flagship. The valiant Admiral Chen commanded that vessel, a good officer and a brilliant tactician. But even brilliance could not overcome those odds. The humans were outnumbered 5 to 1, maybe worse. Lyra's ship moved into position between the 2 fleets. Maya stood on the command platform beside the elf princess. Frost and Storm flanked them. The dragons were eager for battle. Maya could feel Storm bloodlust through their bond. It mixed with her own anger at the Krathen. These creatures had killed her friends, destroyed her ship, threatened her people. Now they would learn what happened when they pushed too far. Lyra opened communication channels. Her voice broadcast across all frequencies, to the Krathen War Master and to Admiral Chen. She spoke with authority that could not be denied. I am Princess Lyra of the Ethel Dominion. Under ancient law, I claim right of intervention. The human Maya Collins has bonded with Storm of the First Flight. She is now Ethel. Any attack on these worlds is an attack on my people. Withdraw immediately or face consequences. The response from the Krathen came in harsh mechanical tones. The Ethel have no authority here. This system falls within our expansion zone. We claim it by right of strength. Leave now or be destroyed with the humans. Maya felt Lyra's anger ripple through the air. The elf princess rarely showed emotion, but this insult could not be tolerated. Very well, you have chosen. Let it be recorded that I offered mercy and you refused. She turned to Maya. Show them what you have become. Show them why the dragons chose humanity as worthy allies. Maya nodded. She moved to the edge of the platform where an airlock opened onto space. Storm was already outside, spreading his wings. Through their bond, she felt his readiness. His joy at finally having a true battle after years of patrol duty. She stepped into the void and formed her energy wings. Together they shot toward the Krathen fleet like a missile. The human ships detected her signature, and confusion rippled through their communications. What was a human energy signature doing flying through open space? Admiral Chen tried to hail her, but Maya had no time to explain. She would show them instead. She would give Earth a victory they desperately needed. The Krathen opened fire. Plasma bolts filled space. Point defense lasers tracked her movements. Maya dodged with speed that made her old fighter seem slow. Storm flew beside her, breathing fire that melted incoming missiles. They reached the first Krathen warship in seconds. Maya landed on the hull and drove her clawed hands through the armor plating. Energy surged through her. Blue fire from Storm channeled through her body. The ship systems overloaded. Internal explosions tore it apart from inside. Maya and Storm were already moving to the next target. Behind them, Lyra's ship engaged 3 Krathen cruisers. The living vessel moved like water. Its weapons were precise beams that cut through enemy shields. Frost flew alongside, creating ice storms that froze enemy sensors and weapons. The Ethel were not numerous, but they did not need numbers. Their technology and skill made them devastating. The human fleet saw the Krathen formation breaking. Admiral Chen was a smart commander. She saw the opportunity and took it. The Valiant led a spearhead through the gap Maya and Storm created. Human missiles and railguns found targets that were too busy dealing with the Dragon Rider to defend properly. Krathen ships began exploding in brilliant flashes. Maya felt alive like never before. Her human training combined with draconic instinct made her unstoppable. She knew where every enemy ship was positioned, could predict their movements. Storm power let her strike from any angle. They destroyed 5 warships in the first 10 minutes, then 10, then 20. The Krathen fleet began to waver, but the enemy War Master was not done. He sent a coded signal and new ships appeared. Dreadnoughts that had been hiding in dark space. Each one was twice the size of the largest human vessel. Their weapons could crack planets. 6 of them moved toward the colonies with weapons charging. Maya felt fear spike through her. She and Storm could not stop all 6. Even with Lyra help, the colonies were about to die. Millions of people. She thought of her brother Danny, of all the families who had come here seeking a better life. She could not let them burn. Storm felt her desperation and responded with fierce determination. "We are not alone. Call them." Maya did not understand at first. Then she felt it. Other presences at the edge of her awareness. More dragons. Storm had sent a call through their bond, a summons that echoed across light years, and they were answering. Portals opened in space, rips in reality itself. Dragons emerged, dozens of them, all colors and sizes, some bonded with Ethel riders, others flying free. They were the first flight. The ancient ones. Stormkin who had slept in distant star systems waiting for a worthy cause. They had come because Storm called. Because he believed this fight mattered. The dragons fell on the Krathan dreadnoughts like an avalanche. Fire and ice and lightning filled the void. The massive warships tried to fight back, but they were not designed to combat enemies this small and fast and powerful. One by one, the dreadnoughts died, torn apart by creatures born from the heart of stars. The Krathan fleet broke. Their war masters signaled retreat. The surviving ships opened portals to dark space and fled. They left behind wreckage and escape pods. Maya watched them go and felt Storm satisfaction. The enemy had learned. They would not threaten this system again. The human fleet erupted in celebration. Admiral Chen's voice came over all channels praising the mysterious ally who had saved them. Maya flew back to Lyra's ship exhausted but triumphant. Storm was tired too, but happy. They had proven themselves. Proven that the bond between human and dragon could change the course of war. Lyra welcomed them back with pride in her eyes. "You did more than save 3 worlds today. You showed both our peoples what is possible when we work together. The Krathan will spread word of what happened here. Other aliens will hear the story. Humanity has powerful friends now. This changes everything." Maya looked at the colony worlds below. They were safe. The people there would never know how close they came to extinction. But Maya knew. She had seen the darkness and pushed it back. She was no longer just Maya Collins' fighter pilot. She was something new. The first human dragon rider, a bridge between 2 civilizations. Storm pressed against her mind with warmth and contentment. "We did well, partner. This is only the beginning. Many more battles await, many more worlds to protect, but we will face them together." Maya smiled and touched the scales on her arms. She looked at Earth distant and small in the night sky. She wondered if Danny would believe the stories that would reach home eventually. His sister had bonded with a dragon and saved millions of lives. It sounded like something from the fairy tales she used to tell him. But it was real. All of it. And as the stars sang their ancient songs around her, Maya knew she had found her true purpose. Not just defending humanity, but uniting it with the wider galaxy, showing that humans could adapt and grow and become something more. The war was not over. The Krathan would return with new strategies. Other threats would emerge. But now humanity had allies, had guardians, had dragon riders who would stand against the darkness, and Maya would lead them.